So an amazing thing about calling California my homeland is that I like to consider myself an immigrant daughter, in that my parents were refugees from Indonesia, and I am the product of that, have stepped on Indonesian soil a couple of times, but don't quite know which to call my motherland. And I'm working on this project, and it's called Sayang, and it's kind of like my Chinese Indonesian American reckoning, in which Sayang is actually, for context for this poem, it's a word that has a double meaning. The first meaning is a term of endearment. It means my love. So calling somebody sayang is very sweet. Alternatively, sayang also means what a shame. So like if you don't finish your food at the dinner table, then they'll always be like, oh, sayang, you're gonna get. And my mom used to always say like, you get a pimple for every crumb of food you leave on your plate uneaten. So, in case you wanted a little context of how my homeland looks like, it kind of looks like that. So it goes. Flat nose and sharp almond eyes, the curly underlings of a profile so callous it shrinks. All 62 inches of my trajectory heady. My declaration for the body is sacred prayer, and ancestral roots are smoke plumes in the foyer. Kneeled prayers, scars dotting the lines of ruler marks on a spinal cord. I am artist, and I am yellow-skinned, brown-tinted, southeast of my ancestors. Indonesia bleeds into the flag, the red settling over a pillar of white. I am artist, and I am incongruency. Parallel lines mean little to me, and the perfect perpendiculars seem more like a falsehood than they do a revelation. On a more private note, I cry into dish rags. That's what it looks like after. The men at the corner store play guess the color of the fire between my masked lips. I am artist, and I say that on shaky limbs. Youth is a temperamental beast, and I feel as though it's been years since anyone called me sayang. Sayang. Sayang, smoke plumes in the foyer. Kneeled prayers, some grandiose seance, just to hear it again.
Okay, and this last one is titled Bodies Are Not Meant to. Bodies are not meant to, 1, ricochet like shrapnel. Fragments of AK-47s off cement or pavement. 2, catch bullets at speeds averaging 1,700 miles per hour, and while I have your attention, bullets travel at 2,500 feet per second. Your as in all. Travel as in move from one location to another. But the body is not a location. It is an assemblage of parts, parts easily susceptible to pain, foreheads and fingertips. 3, act as targets. 4, become an obscured version of Target with 4 Faces, 1955. The anatomical heart is not a bullseye. 5, hang from trees tied to rope and bough. 6, hang from walls, stuffed and mounted. 7, brave enslavement. 8, exist as others expect us to exist. A rural town in western North Carolina is home to Emma Smith, a transgender girl. Due to House Bill 2, the Buncombe County school system neglected to let Emma use the girls' bathroom. I grew up in North Carolina. My dad is buried deep in its soil. My wife and I married on April 6, 2014, in the same county where Emma lives. The U.S. Supreme Court legalized same-sex marriage on June 26, 2015. People often ask why we refuse to move back. The answer seems obvious. But obvious and oblivious are easily misconstrued. 9, act as sacrificial lambs. 10, endure rape to force inanimate objects into genitalia to rip apart like paper. 11, endure slaughter, particularly for body parts such as rhino horns and elephant tusks. 12, die in piles to imitate rubble or rubbish. 13, dodge vehicles to act as bowling pins, That rock maple wood coated in plastic material, standing upright, alert. 14, ingest microplastics. 15, live in captivity. In 2014, Boko Haram militants abducted 276 Chibok schoolgirls. In 2017, 82 girls reunited with their families. Militants retained 113. Teachers ask students to retain dates and facts, not body counts. Certainly not foreign bodies. We let them down. We, the world. 16, experience female genital mutilation, also known as female genital cutting, also known as female circumcision. 17, burn alive, to feel the blue part of the flame. 18, sustain beatings on account of gender identity or sexual orientation. 19, die for religious beliefs. 20, withstand torture for religious beliefs. 21, wash up on shorelines like kelp fronds, jellyfish, exoskeletons, and genuine sea glass. 22, leap in front of rapid transit systems to land on parallel lines, electric traction, slacked and decapitated. 23, shatter glass, splitting cracks move at speeds up to 3,000 miles per hour. 24, leap from buildings and bridges to break open to resemble shards of glass, severed and scattered. Based on wind resistance, the terminal velocity of a skydiver belly down is roughly 122 miles per hour. The body is not an equation. 25, drown in oceans while fleeing perilous conditions. 26, tolerate atomic radiation, to die from little boy bombs. Forgive us, Hiroshima and Nagasaki. Us, as in the United States of America, united, a term that needs to be revisited. Warning, not all bodies are created equal, not according to humanity or history. Thank you.
So I'm going to end with this last poem. This is my second one, Clinica Jalapa, where my parents are from in Mexico. It's called Jalapa, and its second title is Visiting Hours. I'm sitting by your side, abuela. Your breath in this room, a dwindle of fugitive air, a crush of falling clouds. Outside, a geometry of smog and chaos erases the stars while I sit with nothing clenched beneath my tongue. There is no translation for this, no wrapping you inside tomorrows. Abuelo waits in the broken lobby as I tune into the deep hum of your bones. And these mountains cannot be shoveled because Abuelita is a forest. And after falling, we cried, and she spanked us for crying. But she always prayed for us. En el nombre del Padre, y del Hijo, y del Espíritu Santo. Because you'd better holy cross yourself with 2 fingers, forehead, chest, left shoulder, right shoulder, when passing a church, any church, especially my abuelo, that never faithful macho who always told us, eres cuervo. Translation, you are crow. And I learned our name is a mountain because on a nearby mountain, Abuelo built a home for us, praying Abuela would live to see it from inside. And the breath of this land is an orchid night, passing over a rumble of stone roads. It's a gentle touch, the moon-fallen undulation of hills and banana trees swaying in mist. It's the slow-rotting bridge, a music wandering around rooms where Abuelo has hammered every inch, has hammered bottles of mezcal, where nothing shatters, and things are never broken, and no one notices when Adidas have 4 stripes. Because here, freedom rides in the front seat of a dying Ford. Thank you guys, much love to you.
Also, I want to say, my nom de plume is Verbal Fish. I used to just read by my middle name Carter, but I wrote something turn of the century called Verbal Fish, and so I just go by that now. And I want to have something about the homes of the beats. They carried their homes with them, right? So, short thing about the beatniks, the beats. Beat it to life. Poetry lives. The beat don't stop. The beat go on. Our lives are our home, are our poems. Our souls are our homes.
I did write a poem about Homeland for tonight, and I want you to know that I am very sympathetic to the people in Ukraine, to the war that is happening, to the injustice and the devastation, but I'm also expressing some other things. Homeland, the US president nobly and kindly clamors to harbor Ukrainian refugees. And caged or waiting Guatemalan, Nicaraguan, El Salvadoran, Hondurans languish at our borders, our own borders, and all the refugees from all the countries that we have invaded, governments overthrown, dictators installed, we abandon like candy wrappers on tombstones. Or our very own refugees from our very own cities, filling our streets with rat-infested tents and garbage-heaped sidewalks. But their bombed-out homes look so familiar. Shoes lined up at the door, white pianos among the rubble, refrigerators and dishwashers akimbo. We will harbor refugees wrought from Putin's terrorism, but not our own. We have the resources to feed the world, house the unhoused, heal the sick, but no! Let's pick and choose. Let's be selectively empathetic. Narrow our compassion, our aid, our generosity to the one country that mirrors ours, not the dark ones with shacks and shanty towns, not the ones whose citizens have become indentured to violence, not the 11 million starving in the Sahel. No, let's not show too much love. When will the earth belong to itself? When will we belong to one another? If all land is homeland, why is it so hard to live here?
As the last poet mentioned, there is a lot happening in the world. And so, before I start, just love to do a small exercise. Everyone close their eyes. Deep breath in. Deep breath out. And repeat after me. I am here.
I am here.
We are here.
We are here.
And for now.
And for now.
That is enough.
That is enough.
There's just so much pain and things happening in the world today, and so I just feel very grateful to be back on the stage. Actually, this is the last place I performed before the world closed down in 2019, and I'm just grateful for the poets that came before and the poets that will bless the stage afterwards, and I'm just grateful for your presence. So, thank you. So this first one is new shit. New shit! Here we go. Home. Amama's hands glistening with parachute oil, rhythmically trying to tame my curls as I sit cross-legged and engulfed in her sari. Her hands lovingly feeding me papumutas dripping with nehi. Umber's chicken bubbling off the pan, red heart balloons flying high in the humid Bombay air. the tinkle of Charminar's Bengal Bazaar. Home, the bubble of Pink Palace Shisha. Late night boba. Dad's ginger chai with extra fresh grated ginger. The fragrance of Malipulu in my hair. Home, all 5 senses being ignited all at once the minute the plane lands in India. The quiet eeriness of suburban 909 streets. Crash! 1,000,000 glass pieces fly onto my 5th grade room. My mom tries to hide the note attached to the rock. Go back where you came from. The now shattered window giving me a glimpse into the American dream. Crash is the sound of a nation being torn by centuries of held pain, the other decades of creating pain. Where is home? Where is home? What is land and whose land are we? Am I welcome? In America, Manasa, where are you from? America. Oh, but where are you from? In India, yeah, you speak Telugu well. Arthamavutandi. But you'll always be an American-born confused Desi. So where do I belong? What might I call home? Questions that have plagued me since birth. Amma says, take the best of both worlds. Best of both worlds, Mom? One world that upholds and lifts independence, the other interdependence. Where does that leave me, leave us? The questions that have plagued me since birth. The answer, you ask? Love. The only word that holds in both places I call home. I am at home nowhere and everywhere. And finally, I am learning to be at home in me.